Yes, people, welcome back to Football United TV and the Football Politics Show. We got some funny topics to bring up today in this conversation. Let's get on with the intro first. Yes, people, welcome back to the Football Politics Show. I'm joined today by two of my faves, or two of one of my faves. Is that the right way to say that? Because there's plenty of you guys out there that I love, but two of my faves, I guess I should say that. Talk MU and Anthony, how you guys doing?
Not too bad, Pat. And you?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Great Premier League weekend this weekend, right, guys? A few topics to delve into, and I thought this might be quite a funny one to start off with here. Attack of the Drones. It was at the Brentford game, isn't it? What on earth's going on? Like, we got bottles flying at people. We will get into that discussion later on. But what do you make of this? Is this? I mean, this is going to escalate. Is this not? Do you think?
What, you mean like more people doing it?
Well, yeah, it's getting more media coverage, and I kind of feel like now people are going to be like, wow, we can. I think even like fans that are like trying to talk to the owners, do you know what I mean? And you know, like how the Man United fans run onto the field. Maybe using that as a way to
actually
demonstrate.
You know what you could do? We could, like, as fans, you know what I mean? You're seeing it, and the manager's not getting the right information across. And we know we're right, because we know we're better than the manager. So we could let a little note in a drone, get it over the pitch and drop it right next to one of the players. Pick it up and they read it, and it says, "What you're doing? When you get that ball, take it to the wing. Take it to the wing." You know what I mean? Take him on. But no, on a serious note, yeah, I understand what you're saying, bro. To be fair, because you know what, we know what people are like. They see a chance to kind of, cause a bit of havoc, and like, I stopped a game, but do you know what? I'm sure the penalty, if caught, would be rather large.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? I mean, I heard Danny Murphy saying today as well, Anthony, that it doesn't really matter. It's probably just some kid sitting in his house, and I was like, you're not allowed to do that though. Like, he can't just be sitting in his house playing with a drone outside that goes over the football ground. Surely not. Like,
well, it's like what I say. No matter where you go today, I mean, you always see a drone hovering over your head somewhere, don't you? Whether you go shopping or visiting, even in work. It was last week. A drone went over my head when I was outside working on the building sites. They come over and it was just hovering there, and I was thinking, and they got better things to do than just play with a drone. Like, but yeah, I mean,
check out your workers' bum, mate. That's all.
Yeah, most probably. Yeah. It was a day. Funny enough, I forgot to take my belt, so I didn't have my belt on that day. I couldn't find it, so they would have had a good view of that. I suppose they would have thought it was most probably longer than the M5, but it's just
cheeky. You're being cheeky. But
very cheeky.
I understand. I mean, like, as a from a hobbyist's point of view, I mean, you can, we've all got our own little own hobbies, and somebody who's got this as a hobby, they are quite good. They are quite good little machines, whatever you want to call them, because you get some great aerial photography. You can get great. Some of them are 4K. They can record in 4K footage, and in daylight, you get some absolutely brilliant footage depending on what it is you're taking, obviously. And like I said, I've got some from somebody actually on YouTube. 4K footage of, like I said the other day, about all around Manchester near Old Trafford. And not actually over Old Trafford. It just looks mint. It's like wow, right, I'm going to do something with that, and but like you do have to be sensible with these things, don't you? You know what I mean?
You've got to, I guess you've got to take tests as well and stuff like this, haven't you, to be able to fly it, and you've got to go to certain areas where you can't do it. I mean, of course, I think it's quite funny, but so it abandoned the game for quite a while, for like 20 minutes. So it must have been flying like right inside the ground, and players weren't able to play. I mean, that must be weird. I mean, if you resurrect someone from like the 1920s who used to play football and say, yeah, like there were drones flying around a pitch, he'd probably quake in his boots. But the football game's changing so much, isn't it, with all this stuff going on? Because cameras going across now, aren't you, and everything, and they probably start using drones anyway. But also on the flip side, and I hate to just sort of dampen this talk, but using it to maybe harm people at football games and stuff like that. That's why I think there's red flags on this for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, for the game to be like to stop for 20 minutes, blimey, that drone must have been banged really low. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you never know. It might be someone being crafty, thinking, right, well, sod VAR now. We'll send the drones down and see if his,
Yeah, VAR. Do you know what? Doing VAR by drone. I mean, actually, once you brought that up, I will mention it. I don't know who these people are, but some people from our result the other day, the watch along we did, Matt, on Saturday, the offside goal against West Ham. Some West Ham fans seem to think that we're going to now show you how VAR works. So we're going to create our own VAR with our own lines that aren't even straight, and we're going to show you that he's offside.
What
are you doing? Are you mad? I mean, come on. It's at the end of the day, it's this technology that is used to see if a player is onside or not is very expensive, very clever, set up by professionals who know exactly what they're doing, so that line is perpendicular to the pitch is absolutely bang on. So it's not like they're just going, well, let's just judge it. I reckon that looks about straight, Bob. Left a bit, right a bit, that'll do. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't work like that. So for somebody to come out like that and then try and convince people that actually he was offside when he wasn't. And actually while we're talking about that, I know we've got off topic slightly, but I'm banging on about it for ages about a marginal advantage when it comes to offside. That was a perfect case of, was there a marginal advantage for Edinson Cavani? No, there wasn't. Because if you look at it, his elbow might have been over what they will say put down, but then it's the feet they're looking at. So does his arm being over that line give him a marginal advantage? No.
I think they're okay. I think though, Tal, I think people are right of it, but it's just the consistency.
I understand that. I know, but
people have been given the same and it hasn't been given, and it's just sort of like, oh well, annoying, isn't it? Really?
I think it was the feet. I think once it becomes part of your body that you can actually play the ball with, i.e., your legs and feet and your head, then because how often are you going to be offside by your chest? You'd have to be running very, very peculiarly, wouldn't you, to have your chest offside? You know what I mean? So that's not going to happen. So it's either your head or your feet and your legs. So if you, like when you're running forward, for example, if your knee has gone over that line and you're in the forward motion and the defender is kind of getting ready to sort of go, trying to hold the line, then you're offside. Because again, the momentum you're in, you've got an advantage because you're over the line with part of your body, but you're in a good body shape to go bang and you're free of the defender. So for me, that would be offside. But that's what I'm talking about with marginal advantage. It has to be a part of your body that you can play the ball with. But
you think drones would be maybe bird's eye view, because a drone is a bird's eye view in a sense, right? It can get Is bird's eye view better to deal with VAR decisions?
No. You can't get in close enough. You because
drone you can.
No. I mean, but I mean what I mean is by you can't see. You've got to see both individuals, haven't you, to come to the conclusion that one's ahead of the other. And because they're too far apart, the drone wouldn't have a wide enough lens to be able to get close to get them. I don't think there's any problem with the way VAR works right now. It's just a case of I remember Alex Ferguson said about penalties. You know what? Yeah, we might give a few, or we might not get a few now early in the season, or we might get a few now early in the season, but we'll get a few go against us and vice versa later on. So it swings and roundabouts, mate. We cannot totally take the game to technology because it will be so dire. It will be so dire, and we've got to leave it to humans and human eye, and their experience. And I know, like you've said, a lot of the decisions have been so inconsistent. With a lot of the ones that we've seen, where you see. I mean, even some of the penalty decisions, you're like, what the fuck? Listen, for me, do you know what I want to quickly say? For me, if I'm at the FA and I'm any kind of power in the FA, I'm going to start saying, you know what? Listen, I think it's about time we looked at the penalty rule because, right, for me, firstly, if it's quite clear that player is no way getting near that ball because the ball's going out, and they get brought down in the box, that's not a penalty because the ball is going. He's not going to reach the ball, so why is it a penalty? It's
going out, yeah.
If the ball's staying in or it looks like he's going to actually get to it, then fine, it's a penalty. But if the ball's clearly going out of play and somebody has a collision, and then you've seen, the David Luiz one, haven't they? Do you remember that in the Arsenal game? David Luiz last season, he was running to get back, and he slowed himself down, put his arms up, but his momentum carried him, and his knee caught the foot of whoever it was, and he went over hours, and you can quite clearly see he tried to stop. Right. Yeah. So for me, at the time, I remember saying, "No way, that should not be a penalty. He's not intended to go across and catch him." Oh, actually, red card. Sorry, no, it was a penalty and a red card.
It was a penalty and a red card. He got sent off. Yeah. I think the sending off was absolutely that was wrong. Right. Yeah. And the penalty, I don't know. I suppose you look at it because obviously there is a bit of contact there, isn't there? So obviously, when there's contact with what the referee says, to the VAR, it's 50-50 where it's going to be given or not. I mean, have you ever seen a game where the referee has gone, right, I'm not too sure if it's a penalty, but let's have a look at VAR. Yeah, VAR says it's a penalty. I've got to give a penalty. How about if a referee had a dispute with a guy that was actually up there, like doing the VAR, and thinking, well, hang on, I don't think that's a penalty, but VAR says it is. Do you know what I'm saying? So I could see why they brought VAR into the game, obviously for tough decisions, but bringing it on for, I mean, at the end of the day, the referee's on the pitch. You can see 90% what's going on that pitch, as far as I'm concerned. So I think the referee should have the final to say. I don't really like VAR, to tell you the truth. I said it on Match Stream before. I'm not that keen on it. The best thing they've ever did was goal line technology, and that's it for me.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move on from that topic though. We'll move on from that topic now. We're going to go because we're halfway through. Let's move on to the player loan limit, guys. What do you think about this? Do you think this is fair for the clubs that don't necessarily have the squad to be able to send all these players, these youngsters, these academy players on loan? Make profits, make money off of it. What do you think of this, guys? This might be a new ruling that might come in, introduced by UEFA and FIFA.
Well, I mean, is this? I've not read too much about this, but this is a loan limit on how many players you can have out on loan.
Yeah,
at any one time.
Yeah, and they're also talking about maybe scrapping loan deals in January as well, which is quite strange. But what would you make if that would happen? We're not saying it is, but they've said that they're going to do it.
I don't think it'll work. Sorry, talk.
I don't know. Go.
I don't think it'll work. I mean, to be honest with you, when it comes to either your January transfer window or your transfer window in August, it don't make a difference. You're still doing transfers, whether it's going to be a buy, whether it's going to be free, or it's going to be a loan. So for them to turn around and say, "Well, look, we might be scrapping the this rule where teams can actually loan players," I think it's nonsense. I mean, just imagine the teams that comes up from the Championship into the Premier League. Obviously they haven't got the greatest money, have they? So they rely on, getting maybe 2 or 3 loans in per season. So, do you know what I mean? For them to have any chance of them to survive. But yeah, I don't think I don't think it is. I don't think there should be a limit on these things. To be honest with you, I think it's fair enough.
What would you say about that, Tom? Would you have an argument against that, or do you see why people wouldn't don't want the loan thing to continue?
I don't know. I mean, you've got to look at it from what's to be gained here. Who benefits? By this, if this rule came in, who benefits? I suppose maybe are they looking at pushing for clubs to make more of the players that they've got and actually, say, look, you know what, you can't put them on loan because of this limit. You can't let them do any business in January. So what's your options? You don't want to keep unhappy players at your squad. You have to sell them on, move them on, give them a chance. Maybe that's one way of making, maybe evening out the young talent at clubs. Because, like you say, Chelsea, for example, 21 players out on loan.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, what? 21? I mean, so if they have to keep hold of all of them, they cannot keep hold of all of them players with all the other ones they've still got held
That's
back.
almost 2 first 11 teams talk.
Yeah,
that they're out on loan.
Well, so there, you've got to then come to a decision and go, okay, look, right, you need to now start paying more attention to this youth setup, making decisions, right? Is he going to make it? Is he going to? Do we think he's going to make it? You mark up who you think's going to make it. The ones who you think, I'm not sure, then let them move on and go to other clubs. Rather than kind of just sort of floating about in no man's land with no real. Because if a team takes a player on loan, it's kind of like, well, yeah, go on, are you really going to put that much effort and time into developing that player? Not necessarily.
No,
for example, though, you were coming to a deal with Chelsea where Chelsea said, look, we've got X amount on our books. We need to have a call. We'll give you blah, blah, and blah for this, for this cost. Are you interested? And you think about that. You think, well, okay, a minute. How long have they been at Chelsea's academy? Oh, some of them been there 5, 6, 7, 8 years, from being youngsters, depending on what age you're looking at. You're like, whoa, okay, yeah. Does it work out for us? But they've already had a great start, so from that point of view.
I guess from the other point of it as well, which Anthony, you were saying that these clubs like to loan in players from the Premier League and it helps them. But also in the same sense, if they do really well, can't the clubs just pull them back to the club straight away?
I think
they can pull them out of loan, can't they? They can bring them back whenever they want. So if that happens, it would be good. It wouldn't be good for the club if they went, oh, now they're calling him back after 3 weeks because he was so good.
I mean, sometimes they can, and sometimes they can't. I mean, look at the team I support, Arsenal, and how many players that we've loaned out are there. That's obviously players that's played for us in our first team, hasn't got quite the expectations of playing in the Premier League, and they've loaned them back out, sort of thing. The reason why Arsenal does that is because obviously it helps the player. At number one, it helps the player, and number two, it frees up wages if you're actually after another player. So you can say, right, I've got the money to buy in, but I need to free up some dough to obviously buy this player in. So for wages, obviously. But it does make sense. I mean, to be honest with you, it's like with us now at Arsenal, everybody's saying about Maitland-Niles and all, and we got new midfielders. But Arteta may be thinking to himself, right, we're going to have to ship out some of these players to bring in 1 or 2 in this window. But that's the reason why it is, and not that it helps the players as well. To get first team games under their belt, and also. I mean, there's always a loan with a possibility to buy. So, so it's all good, but and also is good on the business side of things as well. So it don't really have any fault. It adds all positives to me. So
yeah. Right, yeah. I guess that's cool. But I mean, like you said though, sometimes they can call the players back. So I guess
they can do. I suppose but if it's in a contract, obviously they've got to sign a contract for you to get to loan for a team to come in and loan your players. Look, so
I think Chelsea could, if they wanted to, they could call Billy Gilmore back anytime they wanted.
Well, if Billy Gilmore can score 10, 15 goals for the rest of this season, better than Lukaku, then yeah, they should call him back.
Well, they got a pretty good result, didn't they, against the old troubled Watford? So
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen down there. And lots of games, and we'll talk about that in the Premier League weekend show that's following straight after this. Fans bottle it. Players abused by the crowd yet again. It's been happening all over Europe. A lot of it's happening in France. Games been abandoned and stuff, and it seems to be creeping its way over the channel over here. Fans throwing lighters, bottles, you name it, and clubs are panicking. They don't really know how to prevent this from happening because people are saying that they'll have to be searched at the gate. But then, what are you going to search everybody for, like lighters and stuff like that? You're just not going to, are you?
No, you're not. I mean, what's the point of searching? It's like with me, because I'm not being funny. If I go down and I watch a game, because I'm a smoker, at half time I go out to the stadium, I have a fag at half time and a quick pint, and then go make me way up. Like, do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, they can't search everyone. I think the people with the bottles, whether they're doing, well, obviously they're doing it, but that's down to them. If they want to be stupid and do it, and then they get a ban, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe it needs more cameras put in around the stadium so we can you can pick up the certain percentage of more fans and see what they're doing. I don't know, but I've had it. Well, I haven't had it done to me. My brother, when we went to the stadium, he had a bottle thrown from the corner of the stand from the away end, and it hit him, but it went on the pitch. It was because it was a derby at one time. It was City versus Rovers, so, and the bottle hit him. It was a plastic bottle, but you know, thank God it wasn't glass. But
If you're still drinking it, it's still heavy enough.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, it sometimes it does happen. You just get this one certain stupid fan that actually goes to the game, and that it can ruin it for all, really. So, but yeah, if they want to do that and they get caught, I think they should have. I think they should issue let's say a five season ban, maybe I don't think they'll do a lifetime ban. Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, 5 seasons not going out with a grind, to your local football team is a bit of a pain. So that's what they should do. Or if not, maybe issue a fine.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Right, talk. I mean, you can't really prevent silly people from doing silly things. You can only make a stand after they've done it, try and call them out, look on cameras and stuff. And I know that would be difficult for lower league teams to be able to handle and make stadiums and fans feel safe and secure. But yeah, what do you think about it all?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, it's out of order. I mean, you've got a voice. When people use their voice, you use your hands to gesticulate. And so for me, I think there needs to be a bit of responsibility taken by everybody here at the ground and making it clear. If you see somebody who's sort of looking to do that, as a group of fans, you got to, all around, you got to say, oh no. No, we ain't gonna. No, don't spoil it for us. People power. I think that's the easiest solution. Because I think if you're there and you're, if you, I don't know, if you throw a coin or whatever it is, I think people don't just throw one thing. They're gonna, if they think they can get away with it, they'll throw more than one thing. So if you see somebody doing it, you have to. You have to have a voice. And again, this is where I think the clubs let themselves down a bit in terms of, they've got social media apps that they've got the use of now is, like I've said before, for clubs to make use of these, your WhatsApps, your Twitter, your Instas, whatever, making groups. What sections of the stadium you're going to go in if you're a regular season ticket holder. You know where who goes where and blah blah blah. You make these groups and you make them kind of give them the responsibility if they should want to take it. And say, do you want to be part of this group? Which, in other words, you're the ones on the lookout. If you see anything going on that shouldn't be going on, you try and put a stop to it in a sensible way, or you make the stewards aware of it. You say, yeah, look, you. In other words, you're being a clown. You're going to ruin it for us. Do one. We ain't going to stand for it. Especially when it comes to, you know, verbal abuse, i.e. racism, that kind of stuff. Then,
Yeah.
you know, if people know that, wait a minute, I'm going into this section of stand, and I know that this whole section here for like, you know, 300-400 whatever people, there's not, no, I know, you know, then they're not going to stand for it because they have joined this group, this WhatsApp group which says, no, we won't stand for it. If we hear anybody doing it, we will, you know, we'll point you out, and we will, you know, get the stewards and say, yeah, this guy, get him the F out of here, because we have not paid our money to come here listening to idiots like this spouting nonsense. Get him out. You know what I mean? Just get shut.
Yeah.
Simple as, and maybe stop selling bottles at the bar and just do it as normal draft pints, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, this is the thing: is you can't.
Yeah, it just means they can't use that now.
I know what you're saying, but that's the thing. Is this is what I'm saying about giving people the responsibility. We're human beings at the end of the day, and adults, most of us who go, we're adults, so you know they should be able to work with people.
We might as well bring back glasses in stadiums then. Do you know what I mean? Like that, they've had to ban that because obviously the problem there, and now there's still people don't learn. So it's like take the bottles away. Then if they can't learn, then they're going to be silly billies. Take the bottles away from them, and if they moan about it, then hopefully they won't do it again, and we can bring it back. Like the whole safe standing thing, and what happened there. You know, people were stupid in some regards. Do you know what I mean? Especially like the authorities on what happened at Liverpool, but we're talking about other situations where fans have to go through that shit and they're not safe enough. You know what I mean? And it's the responsibility, like you say, of them. But if they can't be responsible enough, then I feel you have to take that element away from them. But you can't take like I said, you can't just search every single person at the door. It will take years for them to get in. But just don't give. Just have a beer, but just have it in a cup. What's wrong with that?
Also, I mean, it's about rules and regulations, and you know what the consequences of breaking those rules and regulations. You have to make it clear to fans through the website, through the apps, through the magazines, everywhere. That listen, this is how it's going to be. If you are caught doing any of these actions, right, you will be fined. We will pursue you through the authorities, and we will fine you X amount. But also, you will be banned for. I mean, to me, listen. There's no point in, keep, like, you've got a 5-game ban or half a season ban or a season ban. No, listen. You put rules in place that are there to prevent people doing something. Make sure that it's harsh. I'm a harsh bastard. And I say, no, a lifetime ban. That is the penalty you will pay. So think twice before you do it, because if you do it. Because not only that, Matt, you got people who okay, look, not everybody's the same. Some people are easily influenced. Some people have maybe had a little bit of a drink or inhaled some kind of substance or whatever, and they're feeling a bit funny and giddy. They see somebody else doing it, and they think to themselves, "Yeah, that's great. I'm going to do that." Where normally they wouldn't. So you know what? Then you're causing a bigger problem. So these people, for me, it has to be a really harsh punishment, lifetime ban. And if you're warned, like now for me, like I've said this before, the police, the courts, and everyone, I know the law says if I go outside now, randomly go to somebody and slap them, that'll be assault, and I'll get arrested. And if I go out and do that, I'll have to take the consequences. But it's law; it says it clearly. So again, you have to put rules and regulations in place that say this action will cause in this reaction. And if you still do it, that's your fault. Don't be coming to us afterwards going, "Oh, but." No, there's no buts about it, pal. You know what the rules are. If you don't stick to them, on your bike, son.
On your bike, people. So don't do it anymore. I know there's probably not like the 100,000 people that go to games like this, but if you are one of those, stop it. It needs to stop, because it don't need to be throwing things at players and stewards and stuff like that. And other people as well. It's ridiculous. Stu Mook, big up. He's got a question here for us. Let's get our politic thinking caps on and see why this might be happening. Why does Declan Rice never get critiqued by the media? He was hopeless versus Arsenal 2-0 away loss, Southampton 3-2 away loss, and Leeds 3-2 home loss. Anyone would like to dip their
Look,
toes in this one.
Yeah, listen. You know what? For me, you know what? You always remember it's a team sport. We always criticise. You know, sure, there's a lot of people who critique Declan Rice, but I think the majority of his game is absolutely great. It's brilliant. The guy, I love Declan Rice. I think he's a brilliant player, and you know, for me, his good. The good aspects of his game far outweigh any negatives, in my opinion. So there's not really, and if you go down that route, you know, it kind of becomes looks like a bit of a witch hunt, negative. You know, why then people ask the question, yeah, wait a minute, well, why are you having a go at him? Look at, you know, all you got to do is look at his stats. You look at the stats over a season, half a season, whatever. His good stats far outweigh any negative ones for me, probably in fact as well. So
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with it. I mean, I'm the same as Talk. I like Declan Rice and I rate him, like obviously rate him a lot. Stats is the proof in the pudding. But then again, let's be honest, he's a young player. And with young players, they make mistakes. And that's the whole point of learning as they go as the game goes on, you learn from your mistake each time. I mean, what do they say? A player is never in his prime until he reached 27. So do you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, good quality player. He is going to make mistakes. He's still going to make mistakes, but don't fault him for that. Just let him learn his own way, and that's it. But it's like what Talk said: is 11 players to a team. It's a team sport. So.
Yeah, and it's not like he's Dele Alli or Lingard, is it? You know, where they're really being critiqued because they actually aren't really doing much with their career. He's definitely on the right path, and he's very he's got a lot of love for West Ham. Do you know what I mean? He stayed this season. He said he was going to see it out with them, be in the Europa League with them, and that's admirable. You don't get that a lot from players. So you got to be maybe that's your opinion, Stu Muck, that you feel like you should be critiqued a bit more in the media. But I go with Talk as well. I reckon a lot of West Ham fans probably say recently he hasn't been as good as he has been in the last year or two, and a lot of players after the England dropout have all had that same effect. So it is kind of strange. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, don't give him any stick. Just give him stick when he goes to Man United next season. I can understand it, but you know.
But yeah, I was just going to mention that, Andy.
Yeah, go on.
No. I'll let you carry on with this comment.
I just wanted to ask you who he actually supports. Just are you a West Ham fan or go on, Talk.
What? Sorry, what?
You said you was going to mention that, or you just saying that as a comment?
Oh right, because you know what? Listen, there's a lot of people now calling, you know, for Man United to, you know, saying, in other words, if you don't sign Declan Rice, then you know you need your head testing, sort of thing. So, and I've been saying Declan Rice for well over, even before the start of last season. So, you know what? I mean, for me, he would fit into our team. He's got that kind of. He's got that something about him that, for me, would suit Old Trafford and suit Manchester United. He's got an air of confidence about him. He's got an air of invincibility about him. You know what I mean? I think he's the kind of player when he's fully confident, you know, he'll be unstoppable, absolute, you know, quality player. He is a quality player.
Let me finish off then, Anthony, and I'll ask you as well this. Rice, price, nice. It's going to be over 100 million. Would you pay over 100 million for Declan Rice?
Personally, no, but you can see why you've got a bid over 100 million for Declan Rice. Obviously, you know, he's so young. He's got so many years to offer. That with the last comments, the guy said he was looking for balance. Now, when Declan Rice, you've got Declan Rice in your midfield at the back, because obviously he's a DM. If you're playing a 4-2-3-1, that is, let's just say that. That is a lovely bit of balance you got in your DM just in front of your defenders. So having a Rice there, you know, that's fantastic. So yeah. So yeah, the answer to that, Rice, price, nice. Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
I'm gonna ask you too, Talk. But look, Sevilla. Do you know what? You've blown me away there, Stu Merck. I didn't realise. That's awesome. I was in Seville in September, and I tried to get tickets for the game, but they wouldn't allow foreigners to watch it because of the coronavirus and all that. So I was gutted, but I love Seville, mate. I love Sevilla. Yeah, talk. Yeah, Rice price nice, over 100 million. Would you for Man United?
Well,
You were talking about that being a perfect fit. Would you pay it?
Well, I have to agree with Anthony. I mean, you look at Declan Rice's abilities as a number 6. And when we are playing now, when we are able to play with 2 players, what they call the double pivot, but we haven't really got an out and out number 6 who can free somebody up to go and do what they've got to do, drift and help. The number 10s. So from that point of view, I think he'd be fantastic for us. In terms of his price, I mean, it comes down to value. What value for us spending 100+ million on Declan Rice, considering his age? It's all about. This comes down to, right, do we believe as a club and a manager, whoever the manager is at the time, that have they got enough belief that spending that money is going to be the missing piece? Because when you get to them kind of figures, that's what you're looking at. Like Paul Pogba, for example. We all thought Paul Pogba was the missing piece. Didn't quite turn out that way. But with a Declan Rice, for example, it's about, is he the missing piece? Is he the bit that we need to enable us to go and actually win some decent trophies, especially in the European arena, where a lot of this money can be clawed back if you've got a Declan Rice getting you into helping you get top 4 or challenging for titles and bringing silverware home season after season. The money's come back, not only just on shirt sales alone, but also on the TV rights, etc. So the value in that for me, there's a lot of value in it. I know it sounds like a lot of money now. You go, but it's not going to be like with Man United are going to say, yeah, here's like 110 or whatever it is, what West Ham want. No, there's going to be some kind of deal done. There'll be some money up front, and then it'll be installments. You know what I mean? It'll be all installments. And so for me, I don't think it's such a big deal. And at the end of the day, let's have it right. For them reasons I've just stated, does a price tag really mean that much when it comes to a player? No. The fact of the matter is again, are they good? Are they the missing piece? If so, go and get them in. You can't finish a jigsaw, by trying to jam in another piece that doesn't fit. It just doesn't work.
Well, I read today that David Moyes he wants what 3-4 players, but 2 of them being strikers. So if that means at the end of the season selling Declan Rice to free up some money so he can go out and get some of these players for next season, is all well and done with. But I mean, it's like what Talk said there. He's having Declan Rice there. I think what Man United are short of, to be honest with you, from what I can see, is a right back, a DM, and maybe you'll have to most probably look at a striker soon, because obviously Ronaldo's not going to be around forever, is he? And neither is Cavani, because they're both like late 60s, 30s. So do you know what I mean? So there is a few places that Man United need.
In fact, Andy, I think, yeah, you're right there. But I think we need 2 midfield players minimum. 2. We need 2 midfielders. Yeah. I think we need that number 6 in Declan Rice, but I think we also need another really good number 10 also.
Yeah, I agree. We'll save that for Thursday for United across the globe. we love talking about Man United. I actually want to. I've got a Chelsea fan, one of my mates, who wants to come on solely to talk about Man United, which is pretty cool. Outside knowledge. He's like, actually, I've been looking at Man United for quite a lot. I've got a lot to say, and I'm like, okay. That's pretty cool. Right, we might as well finish it up there. Yeah, 40 minutes. Brilliant. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Press a like, share, subscribe if you can. And let's let everybody know where they can find you. Talk. Where can they find you, mate?
Oh, yeah, usual place, Twitter, at iTalkMU, and on this channel, and on the Man United agenda.
Cheers, Hulk, mate. Nice one, Sam.
No problem.
Anthony.
Hey, yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find me on SVT TV. You can find me on this channel, which is Football United TV, and also you can find me at Dugout Daily as well.
Brilliant. Cheers, Anthony. Cheers, Talk.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back on in 15 minutes with Marley. Anthony, if he wants to come by, talk. If you want to come by, you're more than welcome. Talking the Premier League fixtures, we're running through them, so brilliant. Everybody, have a brilliant rest of your week, and we'll see you very shortly. Take care.
Ciao.